Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa and Internet World. Hope you guys are doing well today on a beautiful Monday afternoon after what was a rainy weekend here in Tuscaloosa. I'm Joe Gaither, and you're listening to the Joe Gaither Show right here on BamaCentral, part of the BamaCentral.com broadcasting network. You can find all of our shows on the broadcasting network, all things Bama and Blue Collar Unplugged. Just look for us on Spotify, Apple Music. You can find us on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well at Joe Gaither6. We hope you had a great weekend. I had a good weekend. We're going to recap the weekend on a Monday. But first, let me tell you what we'll do tomorrow. We'll tease you to hold you on to tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking to Sterling Dixon, Alabama linebacker from Mobile Christian High School. Sterling Dixon was on an official visit to the Alabama Crimson Tide this past weekend. And Sterling Dixon had some nice little news coming out of the weekend from Mobile Christian School. Obviously, he's committed to Alabama already. We'll talk to him tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So make your plans to join us to hear from Sterling Dixon. We'll get to know him. I look forward to that. We heard from Ronnie Cottrell 2 weeks ago, his head coach, talking about Sterling. And I cannot wait to talk to Sterling Dixon tomorrow on the program. But for today's program, we got a lot of things to talk about. We've got a lot of weekend things to talk about, setting up for the new week. And so we'll just do it. Okay, first off, here's the highlights, and then we'll go through and break them all down. Okay, first, yes, you saw Jamil Burroughs got himself into a little bit of trouble over the weekend. Jamil Burroughs, Alabama defensive lineman. We'll talk about his hot water in just a moment. We're going to talk about Julian Sayin, Alabama 2024 quarterback commit out there from Carlsbad, California. He won the Elite 11 competition this past weekend. What does it mean? Is it something we can all celebrate? Do we really care, or is it just kind of a gold star on his resume? We'll talk about the Elite 11, the whole competition, kind of the history about Alabama in the competition, and kind of what it means for Julian Sayin actually winning the event. We'll touch on golf just a minute. U.S. Open wrapped up. I gotta send a message to Justin Thomas. I have to send some help to Justin Thomas. So we'll talk to about a little U.S. Open in just a little bit as well. I want to talk about Nick Saban and virtual reality. Our friend Kristen Saban sent us put out a little video of Coach Saban yesterday on Father's Day playing some virtual reality. So we'll judge Coach Saban's right hook and talk about him playing some games. It is NBA draft week. It's NBA draft week, so on Thursday we'll see our man Brandon Miller and Noah Clowney both be drafted into the NBA draft. Both those guys did get invited. We'll talk about kind of where they're all slotted here in the next couple of days. And then we'll finish it up with Nick Saban on the Joel Klatt Show, talking about the college football playoff from this past year and talking about Las Vegas Lions and talking about kind of who should have been in the playoff and who should have not been in the playoff, this and that and the other. So that's what's going to be on the show today, on the program today. I appreciate everybody who's listening to the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Follow me at Joe Gaither6. Send me your comments, questions, queries, and complaints. Especially love the complaints right there. But let's get kicked off with Jamil Burroughs. We'll kind of go from Friday on into Monday, and Jamil Burroughs feels like the oldest piece of news to kind of start with. So Jamil Burroughs, news comes out from our friend Tony Tsoukalis. Tony Tsoukalis reports, and my man Austin Hannon follows right after him. You can read Austin Hannon's report right there on BamaCentral.com about the incident. Jamil Burroughs apparently is in some trouble, some hot water with Nick Saban and the Alabama coaching staff. You guys all know Jamil Burroughs, shirt junior out of Powder Springs, Georgia, McEachern High School. He's played in several games. Let's see, he played in 6, he played in 3, that's 9 plus 11. He's played in 20 games across 3 seasons here at the Capstone. And there was a lot of talk last year about him really starting to put some things together on the pass rushing front. We never saw it materialize really on the field, on the game field, but that was kind of all the rage in the practice notes. Jamil Burroughs tearing it up, getting penetration, and figuring it out from the defensive line standpoint. Never really, clicked in a game in 2022. Doesn't mean that it can't click in a game in 23. The man's a redshirt junior. He's got, the entirety of his career in front of him. Maybe. If he can keep his head on straight. I mean, come on. This story from my man Tony Tsoukalis and Austin Hannon, this story that came out on Friday was mind-blowingly dumb. mind-blowingly stupid to me. First off, all right, you have an incident at Bryant Hall that police officers are called to address. And what it sounds like to me is there's some roughhousing at Bryant Hall. That's where all the football players live. And dude, you get 50, 80 guys together, all athletic, all high testosterone fellas. You're gonna get some roughhousing. It just happens. No problem. I got no problem with roughhousing. Enjoy yourself, blow off some steam. Don't hurt each other. But the wrestling, that sort of thing, it happens when you got a bunch of athletic guys. So what it sounded like is the guys were playing with water guns. Water guns that kind of seem, on the more modern end. This isn't super soakers that they were playing with. These were like kind of pistols that kind of looked and kind of, they had similarities to real guns. But they're shooting water. They're not shooting real bullets. It's just water. But the police officer get called, and they have to kind of, hey guys, figure out, are you using real guns or is it just water? What's going on here? Is everybody playing nice? Everybody doing good? Well, what ends up happening is, because the police are called, Alabama assistant coaches and support staff gets called, people get called, you have to go out there and address the situation. You all know Josh Chapman. If you don't know Josh Chapman, then you need to get with the program. Josh Chapman, one of the assistants to the strength and conditioning staff. Josh Chapman made his name as one of the first Alabama recruits, one of the biggest Alabama recruits. Yes, Julio Jones gets a lot of credit, but Josh Chapman was right behind Julio Jones in that 2008 class. Yeah, a lot of people remember Terrence Cody as that premier nose tackle, but Josh Chapman was eating up blocks up in the middle in the early days of the Saban dynasty. He's not someone I want to trifle with, not even in the slightest. He's a large man. He's a large man, and he has a history of being a successful football player. Not anybody I want to be messing with. But Josh Chapman gets called and goes to Bryant Hall and basically says, hey guys, this is scuttlebutt. This is me putting two and two together. Me putting two and two together from the story. Josh Chapman goes out there and says, hey guys, maybe not the smartest idea to be playing with toy guns, especially as predominantly African-American males. We all know the penchant for gun violence in this nation and the penchant for police officers to, make mistakes. It's okay. Mistakes happen. It's tragic. We don't want to see that happen. But it sounded like Josh Chapman was trying to take a moment where, hey, the police have been called. Let's everybody calm down the situation. Let's kind of educate the fellas on, hey, why this maybe isn't the best idea and why we need to probably look for other avenues to blow off our steam. Well, Jamil Burroughs allegedly did not appreciate or reportedly tried to swing on Josh Chapman, tried to fight Josh Chapman. Josh Chapman's a full-grown man. He's, 1 year younger than I am, but he is a full-grown man. And he is every bit of, this is a total guess. I should have looked it up earlier. But he is every bit of 6'3", 300 pounds. Let's find out what the internet lists Josh Chapman as. Josh Chapman, UA, Alabama. Let's see. Because he did spend some time in the league. Oh, gosh, way underserved him. A 340-pounder. 6 foot, 340 pounds. Big dude. And so, not anybody I want to be messing with. Especially from a standpoint of, okay, this is a coach trying to help me, trying to say, hey, you know what, we're going to defuse the situation. Nobody's going to get arrested. Nobody's going to get any citations or anything like that. But hey, let's calm it down. Let's not roughhouse in Bryant Hall. Let's not use toy water guns. That's probably something we want to avoid, especially, probably something we want to not do as a contingent of African-American males. And Jamil Burroughs, was probably, I'm assuming, keyed up from the water gun fight, from the roughhousing, from the fracas. And it sounds like he just didn't appreciate the police being there. And I'm sure there was the thoughts coming through his head, what are you guys doing? Get out of here. Go do something else. Go worry about somebody else. Worry about a real crime, And I'm sure he thought, Josh Chapman, we were just messing around. Why are you making this a big deal? But dude, you got to accept authority. You have to accept authority in that position. And it sounds like Jamil Burroughs was not really accepting of the authority right there, not really accepting of the direction, of the correction from Josh Chapman. And look, I hate correction. I hate being corrected. I do, honestly, and you probably do as well. But you know what? It makes me better. So when a listener says, hey, Joe, you got that fact wrong, or hey, Joe, you misspelled this word, or you didn't use this stat correctly, whatever, it happens. I make mistakes. I want you to let me know, and I will feel burned in my heart, but I know that it's going to make me better down the future. Look, Jamil,
Josh Chapman was just trying to, make you better down the future, not get you in trouble down the line. But you took, look, I got corrected earlier today. Didn't really love it, but you know what? You got to realize, they have a good perspective. I do struggle with, reciprocating communication sometimes. So it's something that I want to get better at. You got to just accept the criticism, even especially from an authority figure who's probably coming from a place of love, who's probably coming from a place of positivity. The correction that I received today was coming from a place of, hey, Joe, here's how you can be a better human being, a better man, a more reliable person. I didn't love hearing the correction, but it's just what you got to do. I want to be a better person. I want to be more reliable. Then I got to make these adjustments. Jamil Burroughs, you want to not be arrested. You want to not be accidentally shot by police officers. Probably shouldn't be roughhousing in Bryant Hall. Probably shouldn't be using fake guns. Look, I'm a pro Second Amendment person, but you just got to know the right place and the right time for toy guns and for not. And you got to know, okay, if the police are on scene and my assistant coaches have been called, this is now blown into a bigger deal, and I need to appreciate and respect it to be a bigger deal. So I think Jamil Burroughs is going to stay on the team. I do. Now, that's not with any insider knowledge. I just feel like he's going to stay on the team based off his talent, his experience, and the nature of the offense. Yes, it's disrespectful. Dude, you shouldn't try to fight anybody in an authority place, even if they are 6 foot, 340 pounds. You shouldn't try to fight anybody if they're 4 foot 3, 120 pounds. It doesn't matter their size or weight. You just shouldn't be trying to fight authority figures who are trying to really correct and lead you on a better path forward. So, Jamil, I think that you will stay on the Alabama Crimson Tide team. I know that it was reported over the weekend that he was a 50-50 decision on whether he stays on the team. Now, let's think about it from a football perspective. A football perspective. You look at our lads and you look at some of the experts who put out depth charts, and you see your starting defensive front probably going to be across the line. Justin Boygby, Jaheim Otis, and Tim Smith. Probably going to be those three guys. Really, really excited and important to get Justin Boygby back from his neck injury. But Jamil Burroughs is that next man up. He, Jamarian Latham, and Damon Payne, they're the next group up. So Jamil, you have every opportunity to rotate into this defensive line this year and to play well and get yourself paid, get yourself into a top 3-round draft pick, and go on into the league, make yourself a bunch of money. Don't screw it up. You're right here on the precipice. You're right here on the edge of your dreams, my man. You're right there on the edge of your dreams. So, Jamil, look, I know that you didn't like getting corrected. I don't like getting corrected. I don't. But I invite correction because it makes me better. I'll take the burn feeling in my heart. I don't like that they're calling me out for not being good enough or not making the right decision or not being smart. Look, Josh Chapman's just trying to help you out. These coaches are just trying to keep you on the straight and narrow so you get through these 3, 4, 5 years unscathed. So you get through these 3, 4, 5 years with good academic records. And good life lessons going forward. So, Jamil, I hope you're able to take the lessons from this past weekend and carry it forward. And I hope to see you on the field for the Alabama Crimson Tide this year, because I think that he's got the ability, he's got the talent. We just got to we need to respect our authority. What is it? Eric Cartman, respect my authority. You got to respect the authority figures up here. Jamil Burroughs and Josh Chapman is certainly that authority figure. All right, let's flip it. Let's flip to golf. And then we'll go back to football. Let's flip to golf. Justin. Okay, look, JT, you are a great golfer. You're a better golfer than I'll ever be in my life. You're a better golfer than 99.9% of people on the planet. But JT, you're upsetting me. You're breaking my heart. Especially this past weekend. You go +3 on Friday out there in LA on one of the easiest U.S. Open courses in the history of the U.S. Open. And then you say, okay, I'm not done embarrassing myself. I'm not done making a fool of my game. You go out and shoot an 81 on Saturday, +11. 81? I mean, okay, I'm not shooting in the 80s either, but I know some people who are. I know some buddies who are. I play with buddies who play in the 80s. Like, JT, you're better than this. And then, okay, all right, let's take that in a snapshot, JT. All right, you had a bad weekend. I can accept that as a Justin Thomas fan. I really can. It's no problem. Bad weekends happen. You've been struggling with your putter. You're struggling with your other areas of your game. You have recently gotten married, and you're probably not spending as much time on the putting green or spending as much time practicing your game. Here's where I have a problem, JT. Look, you're going to miss the cut. All right, no problem. I'm not going to get upset. Where I'm getting upset as a Justin Thomas fan is on Sunday. On Sunday, when I take to social media and I'm going to watch the end of this event out there, Los Angeles Country Club. We're going to see these guys. We're going to see if Ricky and Rory can do it. Justin Thomas and his boy Max Homa. Look, I got no problem with you enjoying your Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday. But you put off an attitude of flippancy, an attitude of you don't care. When you go onto your social media and you say, I'm 2 or 3 rosés deep, do you want to hear me and Max Homa commentate on the U.S. Open? No, I don't want to hear you commentate on the U.S. Open. I want to see you get your bleeping butt back to the putting green and figure out your game. I don't want to hear your commentary. I want to see you figure out the irons, figure out the putting green. Like your game is broken right now. You need more confidence. You don't you're having plenty of fun. It's clear that you're having plenty of fun. And I'm not against fun. I love having fun in general. But your job is professional golfer, and I'm ready for you to be competing in these majors again. Look, the Open Championship coming up soon. Don't go out there and make an ass of yourself again. I don't care that you're having fun drinking rosé on a Sunday. That's fine. Do that in your own time. Do that on your own business. Don't take to social media and say, do y'all want to hear me commentate on the last holes? No, I want to see you playing the last holes. I want to see you performing the last holes. I want to see you contending to the last holes. I want to hear Justin Thomas commentating on golf when he's 50 and 60 and 70 years old, when he's out of the game, when the game has passed him by. Right now, JT, you're in the prime of life, man. You're in the prime of your life, and so it really bums me. It bums me out. It breaks my heart that you take your game. Look, I would trade lifetimes over to have the golf ability that you had. Now, don't know that would make me a 2-time major winner. Don't know that would make me a national champion here at Alabama. But JT, don't go on social media and make a mockery of the event that you just basically half-assed. I'm sure he was trying. Half-assed is probably not the right word, but he basically threw in the towel after going +3 on Friday and realized, hey man, these guys went 6 under on Friday. I'm 11 strokes back. He throws in the towel and basically says, I'm going to take the weekend off here in LA. It's embarrassing, and as somebody who wants the best for JT, it really is hurting my heart. It's really breaking my, because I'm a casual golf fan, not a diehard. I'm only watching the 4 majors. I'm only watching a couple of weekends a year. I'm not watching every weekend. JT, these couple of weekends a year are where you make your name. These couple of weekends a year are how you make your legacy. Nobody gives a rip about the Waste Management Open. Look, it's fun, it's cool, a lot of beer drinking, but it's not prestigious. You got to play better in these majors. Don't take to social media acting so flippant. Do y'all want to? I've been drinking a couple of glasses of wine. Do y'all want to hear me talk about the guys who are actually playing good? No, I want you to get off the wine. I want you to get back on the practice green and get your game in order. That's what I want, JT. Whew. I love the guy, but it's been a very frustrating year watching Justin Thomas play.
Hey everybody, happy June.
Happy June indeed. Happy June indeed. All right, let's flip it back to football. Because, that's where our bread and butter is being made. Let's talk about Julian Sayin. Julian Sayin, over the weekend, he spent 3 days out there in California, his home state, and he competed at the Elite 11 finals. Basically won day 1, 2, and 3. Now, you look at different recruiting services, and they've all got their own little evaluations. But by the end of day 3, all of the recruiting services agreed with the Elite 11 coaches that Julian Sayin won the event. What takeaways can we take as Alabama fans from a 2024 quarterback, our commitment, winning the Elite 11? All right, look, you can take away that he's going to be a great quarterback. You could. You can take away that he is the best quarterback in the class. You absolutely could do that. You can take away, a lot of confidence, and you can say, okay, watch out Ty Simpson, Jalen Milroe, watch out Eli Holstein and Dylan Lonigan. Mr. Julian Sayin is coming. Lots of takeaways from this weekend was that the whole class, all 20 guys, performed better than they had originally than the perception. The perception was that this quarterback class was not exactly one of the top tier quarterback classes. But they went out to California this past weekend. They went out to California this weekend, and they really put on a show. This is from our friend at The Athletic, Bruce Feldman. Look, you all know Bruce Feldman covering college athletics for ages. He's been covering college athletics. He writes about Julian Sayin. He stood out the most. I was equally impressed, and probably more so, by Julian Sayin, who won the MVP honors. I say more so because I came in expecting Dylan Raiola to be better. I wasn't as sure of Sayin before this. On Wednesday night at the breakaway data station, he was slinging the ball around. He was in total command, having fun. He knew he was going to ace the test. The more I watched the Alabama commit, the more I liked him. All right, so what they do at this event, they separated it up in three days. 3 days, we're going to break you guys down as quarterbacks. We're going to grade you. We're going to give you a whole package. Day one is literally just drills and dropbacks and velocity and arm angles and all. They've got cameras all around the quarterbacks. They're throwing to spots. There's not any defense flying in their face, but you are trying to determine the footwork, how efficient they are in the pocket, where they're holding the football, how quickly the delivery, how quickly the ball goes from, decision to pass. That's day one. They evaluate everything that goes into the mechanics of playing quarterback. Lots of footwork, lots of arm angles, lots of shoulder pointing, that sort of thing. Day number two, they put them through mini pro day workouts. So they essentially are throwing routes. They're running the route tree. They got to hit Johnny and Billy on the dig and on the post, and they got to hit an 8-yard slant, that sort of thing. They got to hit all these certain passes on day number two. Day number two, Julian Sayin blows everybody out of the water. Not even close. Julian Sayin gets scored a 49 out of 50. 49 out of 50 for his pro day event. He wins day number two. Dylan Raiola, the Georgia commit, who everybody had rated as the number one quarterback in the class, scores a 44. So he's not far behind. That's okay. Good score. Day number three, they take them all back out there and they put them in 7-on-7 drills. You know what they are. It's basically just passing up and down the field, trying to lead an offense. And Julian Sayin, boom, command. He led his unit with great command, finding a tight end in the end zone for a touchdown. And ultimately, Julian Sayin goes on to win the Elite 11 camp. You've got your other competitors. Let me see. Final rankings. All right, here we go. Dylan Raiola came in second, the Georgia commit. Aaron Nolan, Ohio State commit. Luke Kromenhoek. I'm going to have to learn how to say your name. Florida State commit. CJ Carr finished fourth. Jaden Davis fifth. Will Hammond at Texas Tech commit sixth. Ethan Grunkenmeyer, another fun name, number 7 to Penn State. Colin Hurley, LSU commit. DJ Lagway, number 9, Florida commit. DJ Lagway, dude, that's going to be an interesting... It's going to be an interesting dynamic because Florida recently lost a commit to Ole Miss. A 2025 kid reclassifies to 2023. The kid's going to be 16 years old playing at Ole Miss this coming year. And basically says the reason he flipped from Florida to Ole Miss is because Florida prioritized DJ Lagway as their quarterback for this class. All right, so that's kind of what happened out there. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean for Alabama fans? You say, our guy won Elite 11. Our guy is going to come in here and lead Alabama to national championships. Our guy is going to be the future. But does that really mean it? I don't think so. I think you need to caution yourself. Pump the brakes just a little bit on Julian Sayin being a special product. Now, he might be special. He might be. But here's the prospects who have gone through Elite 11 who have committed to Alabama. All right, you have 3 guys who have won it. Brody Coyle won it in 2000, but he doesn't technically get considered as a winner because they weren't really evaluating the whole thing. But, okay, so Brody Coyle wins in 2000. You all remember Brody. Spent some time here during the mics. Had a decent little career, went into the NFL. Always plagued by injuries. But Brody, great man, good little arm, won it in 2000. And then, boom, Blake Barnett wins in 2014. And then followed up 2 years after that, Tua Tagovailoa wins in 2016. Okay, so I ask you guys, if my next quarterback for Alabama is the only thing that you have to compare him to is the Elite 11 winner. The Elite 11 winners are Brody Coyle, Tua Tagovailoa, and Blake Barnett. And what is that going to tell you? All right, that's going to tell you that he could be anything. He could be as special as Tua Tagovailoa, and Tua was absolutely all-world. You remember the Hawaiian Prince just dealing the ball all over the place. RPOs to Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, and then those guys just taking it to the house. Or he could have the mental makeup and be weak like Blake Barnett. Look, I was not a very mentally strong 18-year-old either, so I don't have a whole lot of room to disparage young Blake Barnett. But Blake, leaves Alabama, then transfers to Arizona State, then transfers to USF, then he transfers all over the place because he's looking for a place to play, looking for a home. Because Jalen Hurts sent him packing, sent him on the road. So what? Who are you, Julian Sayin? Are you Blake Barnett? Are you pretty boy? I mean, you're a pretty good-looking boy. Good-looking face, nice long hair, California kid. Are you a pretty boy like Blake Barnett? Or are you going to be a baller? Are you going to come in here and really compete for the job? Pushing Ty Simpson, pushing Jalen Miller. Because look, when you come here next year, the quarterback competition is going to be through the roof. You already had Ty Simpson, Dylan Lonergan, and Eli Holstein right here as underclassmen. What's going to happen with Jalen Milroe and Tyler Buckner? They've got multiple years of eligibility as well. So you've got a huge competition you're walking into. Julian Sayin, I mean, people say he's cool as a cucumber. And obviously he's dominating at the high school level out in California. And so, look, that's great. Bryce Young dominated out at the high school level in California, and look what he turned into. The greatest quarterback, the most talented quarterback to wear an Alabama uniform. Maybe Julian Sayin will top that. Maybe. But I just don't think that you can really take a whole lot away from Elite 11 camp. I don't think that you can take a whole lot away from Elite 11 camp because, look, they're not in real pads. There's not real defensive linemen running at them. Now, granted, look, the 20 guys that made it to Elite 11 finals, they made it there because they're good quarterbacks. They made it there because they're highly rated prospects. They're not going to get out there and just not know how to play when defenses get on the field. But it's different. It's different. It's vastly different going into an SEC stadium versus, playing out there in shorts at a California high school, throwing to prospects who are out there in shorts. They're all wearing those foam padding. It's not real pads. You have to see the bullets flying. I think the day one drills were probably the most valuable pieces of information with this 2023 class because that's where you can see the consistency. You see the habits being built on that day one when they're measuring footwork, when they're measuring arm angle, when they're measuring release, when they're measuring kind of shoulder pointing and accuracy. Those are the things that I think can translate down the line into what kind of a football player they will be. I don't care about 7-on-7s. I don't care about pro day workouts. Really, the only thing that matters is when real action happens, when real bullets are flying, when defenders are in your face, there's somebody trying to knock down your pass, there's somebody that's trying to take off your head, there's somebody trying to shove your offensive tackle into you, you're trying to maneuver the pocket, also reading the defenses, figuring out who is open, can you release it, can you make that window, and oh my gosh, that's how you determine quarterback. Not, hey man, can you just sit there in shorts and throw routes? Yeah, you can see how good a guy's arm is. You can see how quick a guy's release is, and I think that is important. I do think the accuracy translates, and the quick release translates. The issue is, if you're not seeing these guys under fire, then you're not seeing how solid their habits really are. Once you see them dropping back under fire, then you can really see, oh, his footwork is really that special. His arm angle, his decision-making really is that special. His ball placement really is that special because, look, they're not going to get out there and be trying. Look, Julian Sayin got knocked on day number 2 for having a jump pass attempt because he was rolling out. He's rolling out. He's coming to his, that's right, he's coming to his right. He's throwing to a far right-hand corner, and he decides on his rollout, I'm just going to have a little fun with this, and I'm going to jump up in the air and try to hit this guy 40 yards away. Now, look, he missed the throw by feet, but not far. He missed the throw, but that's what I'm talking about. That kind of stuff won't translate. They're not going to be out there trying to jump past. They're not going to be out there trying to impress the scouts by running tricks and doing different stunts on the field. No. When the real game happens, when the bullets are really flying, when it's live action, those guys are just trying to get the job done. And so that's really where the evaluation, I think, can really come in. So I don't really know how to evaluate Julian Sayin winning Elite 11. Yeah, you beat Dylan Raiola, who's expected to be a pretty nice prospect. You beat out Aaron Nolan, who has a great name. But, think about it. Look through this list. These are all the Alabama quarterbacks who have competed at Elite 11 before. Obviously, we talked about Brody Corral, and we talked about Tua Tagovailoa and Blake Barnett. Those 3 guys won Elite 11 during the 3 years that they went. But you had a lot of other Alabama participants going to Elite 11 as well. All right, Brody Croyle in 2000, the second year of the event. Star Jackson becomes the second Alabama quarterback. Where the heck did he even go? Star Jackson 07, A.J. McCarron in 08. Obviously, great career at Alabama. Philip Sims in 09. Okay, where did he even end up? NC State, what? Philip Healy transferred out of Alabama in 2010. Luke Del Rio went in 2012. Like, these quarterbacks are bums. These quarterbacks are not SEC Championship League equipment. Yes, A.J. McCarron, thank you, Lord. But Philip Sims, Philip Beasley, Luke Del Rio, just because you go to Elite 11 and play well doesn't mean that you're going to turn into some star quarterback. All right, so you hit Blake Barnett in 14. You hit Tua Tagovailoa in 16. Tulia Tagovailoa goes in 18, along with Paul Tyson in 2018. Like, look, these two guys didn't amount to anything as college quarterbacks. Yeah, Tulia is still playing in Maryland, and good for you. I hope you have a great year. Paul Tyson over at Clemson doing a graduate year, trying to get on the coaching staff. Look, we see Bryce Young go in 19. You all know how much I love Bryce. Ty Simpson went in 21. Eli Holstein went in 22. And obviously Julian Sayin. Julian Sayin just went this past year. I don't think it means as much as the Alabama fans really make it into. Now, granted, if Dylan Raiola, the Georgia quarterback commit, had won Elite 11, it would be the Georgia fans saying that it's the be-all, end-all, and Dylan Raiola is going to take over college football, and Nick Saban better go pee his pants. That sort of thing. No. I think it's nice to have a winner. It's nice to have Julian Sayin win the event, but you're still 2 years out from having Julian Sayin take snaps here at Alabama. We need to be worried about the quarterbacks right now. The Jalen Milroe class, the Jalen Milroe-Ty Simpson battle with Tyler Buckner sprinkled in. I think that's really what's most important for us as Alabama fans. And I think that's most important for the program because whoever wins the battle is going to have a leg up automatically on Julian Sayin when he comes into Alabama next spring. He's going to enroll early. He absolutely will. But, I just don't know that this past weekend, hey, he went out and impressed in shorts. Hey, all the scouts were drooling over him in shorts. Great. It's fun. It's something that we're going to celebrate here on BamaCentral.com. You can read about his performances on BamaCentral.com. And we'll obviously keep up with everything that Julian Sayin does. And he might turn into being the greatest quarterback of all time. But I just don't know that this one weekend, this instance, hey, he went out to Elite 11 and beat out Dylan Raiola. I don't know that that is the great indicator of what a quarterback's really going to be because I think you've seen great winners in the past. You've seen absolutely trash winners in the past. You look through Elite11.com and you can see their winners, and some of them have turned into really good quarterbacks, Andrew Luck and such. And some of them have turned into absolute bums. So I don't think it means that much. All right, we got two more topics here on the Joe Gaither Show right here on a Monday. I hope you guys are having a beautiful Monday. The weather has turned out nicely. I know it was raining all weekend long here in the Tuscaloosa, West Alabama area. I appreciate everybody watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Want to remind you, tomorrow we're going to have Sterling Dixon, Alabama commit, 2024 Alabama commit, Mobile Christian linebacker. Mobile Christian is a school linebacker. He was here in Tuscaloosa for an official visit this past weekend. So tomorrow we'll talk to Sterling Dixon at 1 p.m. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up. Actually, no, I missed one. I got three topics here. Let's go to NBA, and then we'll hit it with two Nick Saban topics to close her out. NBA draft is this week. The NBA draft is on Thursday. Let me catch a drink of water and tell you Happy June again.
Hey, everybody, Happy June. Hey, everybody, Happy June.
Excellent. All right, so the NBA draft is on Thursday. I believe it's going to be 8 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock, right there on ESPN. What's important to you, the Alabama fan, is, look, Brandon Miller and Noah Clowney have both been invited to the NBA draft green room, which is, I think, a great sign for Noah Clowney. We all kind of knew. It's pretty much a Money in the Bank lock. It's set in stone. Brandon Miller's going in the top 5. He's really going in the top 3. I would be absolutely shocked if he falls to number 4. But Charlotte Hornets, they're obviously going through a sale at the moment. They've been debating if they want to take Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller at number 2. Lots of talk about Portland Trailblazers trading out of the number 3 spot. You don't know what's going to happen. New Orleans has talked a lot about moving up. The Pelicans, wouldn't you love to see Herb Jones and Brandon Miller get paired up together again with Kyra Lewis? That would automatically seal my fandom. I would say go Pels, just like that. But look, on Thursday it's gonna be a lot of fun. The mystery is with Noah Clowney. The mystery is right there with Noah Clowney. They've both been invited to the NBA draft, and so he's obviously expected to get drafted. It's not the NFL. They'll do both rounds. They'll do round 1 and round 2 on Thursday night up there in New York. And so look, it'll all be wrapped up in one evening. And Noah Clowney, his projection has been all over the board. And so it's going to be really interesting to me to see where he ends up landing. I looked up several different mock drafts earlier today to kind of see where the scouts and where the pundits have my man Noah Clowney going, and it's real interesting. All right, SB Nation has him as high as number 15, right outside the lottery. Oh my gosh, you tell me Noah Clowney's a lottery pick? Oh man, Nate Oates is going to flip his lid and use that in recruiting. But, okay, 15 to the Hawks, that's as high as I have seen him drafted. Now, the low end where I've seen him pick, CBS Sports this morning had him going in round number 2, number 35 to the Portland Trailblazers. And then I saw, from Bleacher Report right there in the middle, had him going in round number 1, number 26 to the Indiana Pacers. So, Noah Clowney presents an interesting case study of how much do you trust the scouts, how much do you trust the feedback and evaluation, because it seems like there's a wide berth of where Noah's going to get drafted. Anywhere between 10, we'll go 10 as the high end, and 40 as the low end. That's a huge variance, massive variance. Now, if you get in that top 30, Noah Clowney, you made the money. You have made it, my man. If you fall into the second round, though, it becomes a little problematic. Not that it can't work out well for you. It can. We've seen that work out well. Obviously, Herb Jones most recently impressed the New Orleans Pelicans, and they offered him a guaranteed contract. The second-round contracts are not guaranteed. You're going to have to go to your organization if you're a second-rounder, and you're going to have to impress. And now Noah, he's still young and got a lot of developing to do. Obviously, he's going to continue to work on his three-point shot. His athleticism and his penchant for rebounding is off the charts. I think he's going to help a team right off the bat as a rebounder and as a little bit of a post defender. But Noah on Thursday is going to be very interesting because, look, I will lose my brain if Noah Clowney goes 15 to the Hawks. I think that would be amazing to get selected before pick number 20. You have 2 Alabama players going in the top 20. I think that would just serve to really, really give Nate Oates a great feather in his cap. Now, we know Nate Oates is trying to accumulate his 3rd and his 4th first-round draft picks here as the Alabama head coach. Now, I expect him to do that this week. So we'll be keeping you up with that on Thursday on BamaCentral.com. Make sure that you're watching all that stuff on Thursday. Thursday about 8 o'clock. I know we're going to have a huge team getting a lot of content out there on Thursday night for the NBA draft. Okay, 2 more topics, and they are both Nick Saban related. One, I'm going to talk about the viral video that came out earlier today on the Instagram. Oh, did I already? Oh, it's been 35 minutes. Oh, no. Okay, I set it up. Okay, no. I set it up right at the very beginning. I didn't get into it. Yes. It's been 40 minutes, and I'm behind on my medicine. Need to kind of catch up on that. Sorry, I apologize for the blank right there. No, Nick Saban, viral video gets put out today. It seems like the video is from the Christmas area, Christmas time. Lots of holiday decorations in the background. But look, Kristen Saban says us caught Nick Saban. Caught him using the virtual reality Oculus Rift goggles, I'm imagining his PlayStation, playing a game. She caught Nick Saban playing a video game. And look, if you guys would have thought, oh, Nick Saban playing a video game, you probably would have thought the game was Pong, or the game was Frogger, or the game was, Mr. Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, something of that era where Coach Saban was familiar with. But no, Nick Saban wearing these Oculus Rift virtual reality glasses and holding 2 controllers in his hands. Basically, he's in the middle of his living room shadowboxing an opponent, and it is the funniest thing. Oh my gosh, Coach is just he is giving the air the business. He hits, he kind of swings a left hook, he swings a right hook to the body, he kind of jumps around. I don't know, obviously, what he's seeing in his glasses, in his goggles, but he is having a fight, and it is great, and he's kind of cracking up at himself. I'm sure that he can picture himself, how silly he looks. Look, this is no knock on Nick Saban. everybody, as young can be and as old can be, as athletic or as unathletic as can be. Anybody wearing those Oculus Rift goggles looks funny. It just is what it is. They look funny when they're swinging the air, whether they're doing the temple run or they're doing the boxing game or they're doing, baseball, this, that, or the other. Whatever movements they're doing, they just look funny. And so Coach Saban, to see that side of Coach is just, it's fun. I enjoy it because, look, you see Coach as a human. You see coaches, obviously, look, we want to win football games, and that's the number one goal in Coach Saban's mind, is building the best program in the country. But it's cool to see Coach blowing off some steam, and it's cool that Kristen is able to let us have a little 30, 40-second snapshot of Coach's real personality. See, I think that's who Coach actually is. I think that he puts on this persona of I'm tough, I'm mean, and obviously he is tough. He is tough, and he obviously has high expectations. But as far as meanness goes, I don't think he's a mean person. I think Coach has high expectations of himself and of everyone around him. But I think Coach loves to have fun, especially when he knows this is an appropriate moment for fun. I think he flips that fun switch and he lets it go wide open. You see it on those late days with the coach, with the players. You've seen it in the little go-kart video with his grandson, and I think you saw it this morning. Thank you so much, Christian. You can read about it on BamaCentral.com. You saw it with Coach Saban playing with the Oculus Rift. Looks like he was fighting. Hey, I don't want to take that left hand. I don't want to stand in front of Coach Saban. He always kids his players about how he still got it. Well, maybe the video getting put out today was a reminder. Hey, don't mess with me, or I'll give you this left-right combo, and you'll be in a world of hurt. A lot of fun from Coach Saban seeing him play with the Oculus Rift. Okay, last topic, and it comes from this morning from the Joe Klatt Show, and it is Nick Saban. Nick Saban, I do love you, Coach. I really appreciate you, Coach. But goodness gracious, sometimes you make it hard. All right, today, quote coming out from the Joel Klatt Show, and I appreciate you, Joel Klatt. You can follow him at Joel Klatt Show. Quote from Nick Saban. But do you really get the best teams? He's talking about the college football playoff. Do you really get the best teams? When they told me that we would be favored against 3 or 4 teams that got in the playoff, I'm like, well, why aren't we in the playoffs? This is going back to last season. Obviously, TCU gets in the playoffs. Georgia gets in the playoffs. Oh my gosh, my brain has erased last season. CFP from last year was 2022. Who are the other 2 teams, dummy? Oh, it's Ohio State and TCU beat Clemson, right? Ohio State and TCU, I believe, beat Clemson. Am I just on track? This is getting cut out. So Coach tells you that you're going to be favored over the 3 or 4 teams that are in last year's CFP playoffs. And so I think, yes, on paper, you are going to be favored against those teams. You are. And that's fine. But Coach, you don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to have it both ways where you complain about the media against Texas A&M week where, Vegas has us as a 21-point favorite. They don't know what they're talking about, so we should just not even play the game. So we should just not even prepare or play the game. He goes on those rants all the time when he's asked about Vegas lines or favored by X amount or, favored against the Cupcake University. He always goes on the Vegas rant and goes on the rant about how the line makers don't know anything about college football. And if they knew things about college football, then, why would we even play the game? But then he wants to go back and use the Vegas lines makers as why Alabama would be favored over these teams. And it's just like, Coach, I don't know. I don't know that you can have it both ways. I get a problem with you using in mid-season poo-pooing Las Vegas, poo-pooing their Vegas lines, and poo-pooing their knowledge. And I know that your own, Coach does this thing where he just chooses who he's talking to at that moment. I know during the season, he's talking to his players and his coaches, and he's talking to his own organization that, we cannot use the Vegas line as Texas A&M comes into Tuscaloosa last year as a heavy underdog, and it ended up being a 1-score ball game. Yeah, you cannot use the Vegas lines. You've got to prepare at a high level. You've got to be ready for all opponents. You have to take everyone seriously. I get that. That's the message he wants to send through the season. And then after the season, he wants to say, it just wasn't fair against Alabama. Coach, it was fair. We lost. We lost to Tennessee, and we lost to LSU. You weren't prepared against Jaden Daniels' running game, and you weren't prepared against Josh Heupel's passing game. You just weren't. And I'm sorry, would we have loved a spot or a shot in the college football playoff? Yes, we would have. And do you think that Alabama would have probably made the finals against Georgia? Yes, I do. Would Georgia have won 65-7? Hell no. Would they have won? I don't know. I have no idea. But I know it wouldn't have been 65-7. And so, Coach, you want to do the job? You want to get back to the college football playoff? Don't leave it in the hands of the committee. Get prepared for Tennessee. Get prepared for the 2023 schedule. Get ready for Texas to come into Tuscaloosa and give you everything they've got week number 2. Get ready for LSU to come back here in Tuscaloosa and try to win a second year in a row. Like, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a massive challenge. But look, Coach, you cannot use Vegas lines out of one hand in the middle of the year to say, oh, well, they don't know what they're talking about. How can y'all, rely on the Vegas lines and say this isn't going to be, y'all think it's going to be a 4-score game? Thanks for your interest in the game, blah, 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 And then, in the middle of the summer, say, well, we would have been favored against those other 3. Coach, you would have been favored because you're Alabama. You would have been favored because you are the Alabama Crimson Tide. And when a Gambler X sees Alabama on the board, they say that has value. Alabama has value. Alabama has, give them 3 points. Because that's just the brand you have created over 16 years. You have created a brand that the Alabama name means something. You put Alabama, look, it could be Alabama and the New York Giants. And I bet you the Alabama fans would bet on Alabama. I'll take Bama plus the 3 against the Giants. Like, the brand is so large that you have to take that into account. You have to take that into account when you're setting the lines. You've seen that over a 15-year period here in Tuscaloosa. You set the lines at 40 against these cupcake games, and Coach wins by 50. And it's like, what do you do from a Vegas standpoint? Now, look, this isn't all just about Las Vegas, but Coach, stop with the excuse making. Stop with the excuse making about, well, we would have been favored against 3 of the 4 teams. Yeah, we would have. But we didn't get an opportunity because we messed around in the regular season, let Tennessee get one over on us. We messed around in the regular season, went down to LSU and weren't ready for Jaden Daniels. The defense looked like booty most of the year, and especially in those 2 games. Coach, I don't care about Vegas lines and Vegas favorites and who should be in and who shouldn't be in. We're Alabama. Alabama has to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We aren't we're not begging committee members to let us in. We're proving our worth year in and year out, and I expect Alabama to continue to do that. Don't beg the daggum committee to let us in because, we would have been favored on a neutral field after 10 days rest and fully healthy. Coach, these excuses make us look bad, make us look weak. You hear Kirby Smart across the conference saying, we don't care if it's 9 or 12 or 15 SEC games. We don't care if it's Alabama or Oklahoma. They don't care about it. Coach Kirby Smart just wants to play football. We got to get back to that from an Alabama standpoint. You got to get back to quitting to care about the politics. Quitting to care about the way, NIL is broken. It's broken. Let's break it to our advantage. Let's use it to our advantage. Oh, Coach, I love you so much. It's going to be a fun 2023. Oh, it's going to be a fun 2023. All right, let's wrap up this show. I want to tell you guys, again, we'll have Sterling Dixon tomorrow, mobile Christian linebacker, edge rusher, inside linebacker, kind of mixture. He's committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. He was on an official visit this past weekend to Tuscaloosa, and he's got some big news that he's going to share with you guys tomorrow right here on BamaCentral.com. In the meantime, check us out on BamaCentral.com. You can read about all our great work, our friends Katie Wyndham, Austin Hannon, Edwin Stanton, Chris Walsh, everybody working so hard on the website. Check them out at BamaCentral.com. Listen to the other Bama Central Broadcasting Network podcasts. You've got All Things Bama, Austin Hannon, and you've got Blue Collar Unplugged with our man Matthew Gibson and Blake Byler. We're going to be back tomorrow with Sterling Dixon, and we're going to have a great rest of the week. I hope you'll have a great Monday. For Joe Gaither, that's me. The listener, that's you. This has been the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.